Hello, my YouTube people. How is everybody doing? Um, Sorry it took me so long to make this video, but boy, do I have a fucking story for you guys. First of all, I want to, of course, say hello to my old YouTube people. Hang on, I waited until I started this to light up a cigarette, you know, just so I don't know. I could show how classy I am. Anyway, I don't know if that light is a good thing or a bad thing. I'm trying to play with light. If I sound like I'm sick, it's not that. It's from your girl taking after her grandpa and pulling breathing tubes out of herself while mostly unconscious. And yeah, I fucked myself up. Y'all should have heard me when I first came out of it. Oh my god. But anyway, ooh, that's a little bit. There we go. That's a little bit better. Um, so now I don't know. Well, first of all, hello to my old YouTube people, but also welcome to my new YouTube people. I hope that you all get to know each other and become really good friends, and we get to be one big happy family. And just like with any other family, there might be assholes with potential sock accounts that want to sit there and be that cousin that comes over and you're just like, well, I can't kick him out because he is technically family. We'll have those people too, but that's okay, man. That's what that's what happens with families. Um, but I wanted to say hello to everybody and welcome if you are new. And I can't believe any of my old people are still here, and I'm very grateful for every single one of you. Now, on with the crazy shit. Okay, so if you have been with me for a while, you might remember one, that I am epileptic, and two, that August fucking hates me. When it comes to August, it is the most cursed fucking month of the fucking year for me. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I'm smoking and cussing. I know, white trash. What can I say? Anyway, you know your girl had to get one in. Um, I don't know if there's any of you that are also um part of like BX Beast Boys community, but for some reason in my brain damaged state, um, I remember saying something on his live stream about being in ICU, which I was in that moment, but I'm not sure eh, if I told anybody else on YouTube or wrote anybody else, because the reason I was in ICU. Oh, hang on, let's start with the August thing. August started showing her ass this year, like the second week of July, right? And but then when we got to the August part, like the mess that had already happened still is not cleaned up. Tony is not back to work. He has had literally 4 or 5 jobs fall through. Um, the jobs that he had, it was a clerical error that got him kicked off of both of them, because he does a work from home program, and like he's basically considered kind of like a contractor, but he does like tech support or something like that. He works from our garage. Well, anyway, he, like I said, lost his jobs because of a fucking clerical error. They somehow got his address wrong, because they always do background checks if you're like getting a new one, Like, because a lot of it's seasonal and especially right now because everybody's trying to work from home, so it's even more difficult. Well, anyhow, he lost two jobs that were supposed to roll into the time of year where, yeah, it would be the end of the jobs, but they would be paying better than normal. And he lost both of them because they fucked up his address. And because he's considered a contractor, they're not responsible for any of that. Just like last spring when he was supposed to get his first paycheck in February and it was the end of April and he had not been paid yet. And we were living on like my family giving us what little bit of money they could give us, which wasn't much, I'm here to tell you, because as that person who's definitely not a Katie sock account, D share, so kindly pointed out, yes, we're all fucking poor. Hell, at this point, I think most people are. I don't know if anybody noticed, but there's this pandemic thing going on, and it's put a few people out of work, and shit's just kind of a mess right now. A lot of people are poor, but I can't blame the pandemic. I was born fucking poor. Um, I was born poor, but I will not die poor. That has been my fancy life motto. And I don't mean fancy like, ooh, I'm so fancy. I mean the actual song about selling yourself and moving up in the world from it. Anyway, um, anyway, I can't sell my ass because I'm in Chillicothe and there's a serial killer down here who loves to go kill prostitutes and who has gotten away with it for about 2 decades. So you can't play down here, man. You can't. Um, so the mess that had been made in July still was not cleaned up, but those first 2 weeks of August, like nothing bad was happening. Because the thing with me in August, yes, it fucks my life up in spectacular ways, but it also reinforces the motto, what damn my fucking hands. Whatever can go wrong will go wrong. That's me with August. And so it's not just the few spectacular fuck ups it gets in. It's also like, I don't know, stubbing my toe when I try to walk through the room, or losing my keys for 3 days, or, shit like that. And none of that was happening. None of it. And I'm going, oh, this is not good. And Tony, who tries to act like I'm crazy about the whole August thing anyway, is like, well, even if you're not crazy, and you are, maybe this August, we've had such a fucked up year and such a bad year that August is gonna behave. Yeah, no, I knew that shit wasn't happening. And that's what I told him. And he didn't want to listen. And so, on on the anniversary of Hurricane Katrina hitting the city that I have dreamed of all my life, fuck it, I'll light up another one. Um, August 29th, I was admitted to the hospital after having, I was conscious for the seizure, I guess. But not only do I not remember the at least hour and a half that I seized straight, I don't remember. See, that happened on Friday. I don't remember Thursday. I don't remember Wednesday. And I don't remember Tuesday. So, um, clearly my brain was having some problems before it showed its real big ass. And like I said, I have no memory of any of this. We have a friend down the street. Actually, it's a couple friend, and their daughter is the exact same age as River, and they're so cute together. Excuse me, by the way. They're so cute together. They're little besties, and her name's Lydia. And I was like, oh my god, like Beetlejuice. Never imagining she actually named her after Lydia. And she's like, well, yeah, that's where I got it. That's it. We're friends, soulmates. Like we are. We're buddy soulmates. Um, they're really cool, and we all hang out. But she's a nurse, an LPN, and I guess Tony had called the squad, but I was still like talking, which I used to have seizures like that where I was conscious, and I do remember them, unfortunately. And, my whole body, like you do when you're seizing, only I was conscious. And I could feel every single bit of the tension and the shake. Oh my God, it's fucking awful. I'll take a grand mal seizure over that any day. But I guess I was arguing, saying, like, I'm not going, whatever. And I guess Brandy told Tony, like, no, you've got to make her go. Period. Like, this is going to kill her. So somehow they made me go. I don't know if they used Brandy because they figured I wouldn't argue with her. I don't know. But they made me go. And I went to the fucking hospital down here that used to be a good hospital. They were actually the ones who told me for the first time that they thought I had Crohn's disease after fucking around with my hometown hospital for, well, on and off for years, but specifically for like 3 months straight of all that shit going on when it first got really bad, and them not even having the good common sense to give me fluids when I was going to the bathroom up to 60 or 70 times a day. Adina was the ones that like helped me and told me what they thought I had, but they couldn't diagnose me officially because I was in the ER. I had no insurance. No one would keep me for the tests. Um, but now they are a horrible hospital. Allegedly, I forgot I said their fucking name. Um, and my childhood best friend I grew up with back in 2010, I believe it was. Her grandpa came in there with one lung that functioned on a regular, and he was having trouble with it that day. But that was his good lung. The other lung was basically completely collapsed, like no hope for it, and had been for a long time. And for reasons still unknown to me, they poured talcum powder in his one functioning lung. Needless to say, that did not end well. So, fuck knows what they did to me in there. You want my hypothesis? Allegedly, I'm thinking what happened was I went in there, and of course, I had been having a seizure for, at that point, about 2 hours, maybe longer. And when you seize, when you're unconscious, you don't breathe at all. When you're conscious, you breathe, but not a lot. So, of course, my oxygen levels would have been down. I think they tested it and saw an opportunity to keep me in the hospital for longer and fucking intubated me, would be my guess. And something went wrong. Something apparently went horribly wrong because they sent me to Columbus, to Riverside, the one good hospital in central Ohio that I have been to, allegedly. Thank God. Thank God. They sent me there, and Riverside, just like they did for my former friend's grandpa, cleaned up whatever fucking mess Adina made. Well, in the meantime, I had to be as difficult as humanly possible. And I kept pulling out the tubes, I kept pulling out that. I even heard at one point that I pulled out an IV. Now that is straight up grandma. I don't remember grandpa ever pulling out IVs, just the tubes. But grandma, yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, I have no memory of any of this whatsoever. I remember nothing until they woke me up the next day because apparently at some point one of them somehow put me in one of those like mini comas they do with fucking fentanyl, with which I withdrawed from for like a straight week, and I don't fuck with anything like that. So that was just the 2 or 3 straight days of being on it. Can you imagine what heroin addicts go through? I'm just saying. Um, but anyway, they had me in the little fentanyl coma, and they brought me out of it on Saturday, I believe. Yeah, because I spent one whole day and night, and then they moved me. Yeah, Saturday, and I remember bits and pieces of that day. But what freaks me out the most is the way my brain was acting, because I I don't know how to put this without sounding crazy. I I have more knowledge now because, I've read more and all that shit. But in terms of the quickness of my mind and all that, um I am nowhere near as smart as I was when I was a little kid. I know that. I accept that. That's fine. That day, on the other hand, Tony, anytime something is horribly wrong, if y'all remember when I had River and I was bleeding to death and trying to push her out, his solution was music. Well, apparently this day his solution was also music. Smart man, by the way. And all I wanted to listen to was music from my very early childhood, like very early Pearl Jam, Nirvana, stuff like that. And then I was listening to shit I have not listened to in years, like Maisie Star and um, Soul Asylum, and just stuff that I just don't listen to like that anymore. And my mind felt like it did when I was a kid in terms of that quickness. It was all very odd. I, but then there was shit like I never even thought, because River was with my baby sister down here. The thought to make a video or anything, none of that entered my mind. The thought to just Facebook call anybody, not, I didn't think of any of it. Like a couple of times, a few of my siblings called me, and I answered it. I knew how to answer it. I knew how to work YouTube, but it's like that. Like I didn't even know it existed. It was very fucking odd the way my mind was acting. And I don't know how many of you have ever had a cluster migraine, but or even like had your brain shaking around. Um, that pain right here, that just you're just sore inside your head and your eye sockets and shit. I was like that for days. And this is the first seizure I've had at all since about this time last year in fucking August, y'all. Just saying. Um, I had a seizure coming back from seeing my baby sister here, going back to Columbus. It was a conscious seizure, but I remember every bit of it, unfortunately. And I seized for about 20 miles of that about 35-mile journey. It was horrible. And I got a concussion from it. And couldn't go to grandma's for like 2 weeks, and I was a fucking mess. And before that, I don't think I had had a seizure for like a year and a half. So it's not like I'm having horrible seizures all the time, like I did 10 years ago when I would have 10, sometimes 15 seizures like that every single day. Grand mal and conscious. Every day. All day long. Like to the point where it got so bad, Grandma got panicky and wouldn't even let me go outside on the porch because it was cement. And she was afraid that I was going to crack my head and die. There is literally, if you get on my Facebook, a picture of me trying to play with my niece on Easter through the screen front door because Grandma wouldn't let me outside and wouldn't let me take a shower by myself. She or my baby sister had to sit with me. Like, and I can't say I blame her. I mean, never mind the fact that I was 23 years old, but I understood where she was coming from with it. So I gave her at least that much peace of mind because she was going through a lot watching me go through that every day. And I understood that. Oh, speaking of grandma, in the comments on my Karen video, um, I was talking to one of you guys about me looking like grandma. So I thought that I'd give you an example. This is grandma and grandpa in like 1972, which would have made grandma about 24. I'm trying to. So I don't know. What do you think? Do I look like her? Everybody always said that I did. I'm just now noticing it now that she's gone. I don't know. I guess because I don't see her every day anymore. But anyway, um, so I was in. They kept me in ICU a whole another day and night, and then most of the next day I was still in ICU. They wouldn't let me up out of bed, which drove me up the fucking wall. It was bad enough they wouldn't let me out of the room. Y'all gotta remember I'm extremely claustrophobic. And at first, it didn't really bother me because I had my music, I was inside my head, I was in a weird fucking headspace. I could not even believe what they were telling me about what happened. Like, it was just a lot, and I was trying to process all that. And of course, having people write me, and I knew how to check the messages, and I would write them back. But again, the thought to write them first never. It was weird. My brain was doing weird shit. And so that day really wasn't so bad on the not being able to get out of the bed, leave the room, shit. It was the next day that I was ready to yank all my hair out. I wasn't nicking for cigarettes, which come to find out was because they had a patch on me. And I think I figured out the secret to me and patches, but I'll get to that in a moment. Um, anyway, while I'm still processing what happened, they're telling me we did all these tests while you were out of it. We weren't able to map your seizures because by the time you got here, the seizures, they had already stopped the seizures. And probably my fucking breathing too, allegedly. They were like, but we did get a good map of your brain just in general. And who in your family has calcium on their brain? And dude, I couldn't even remember if I had a brain that day. Like, I was out of it. Like, I have no idea. Which really, nobody has ever specifically been told that in my family. But I'll get to that in a moment. Um, and they were like, and who in your family has Wilson's disease? I'm like, first of all, I don't know dick about my sperm donor side of the family. Couldn't remember how to Facebook call people, but I could remember he was my sperm donor. Anyway, um, I said, and as far as my mother's side of the family, my grandma was sick my whole life. I don't know who, grandpa was very sick toward the end. I don't know. All of my grandmother's sisters were dead by their 50th birthdays. I don't know. I don't know. Could have been any of them. And which is true. But again, I wasn't thinking clearly that day. It wasn't until I left the hospital and my brain was doing a little bit better that I started thinking Wilson's disease affects your liver, your kidneys, and your pancreas, I believe. My grandmother's liver used or kidneys used to shut down just randomly. We would be asleep at night because I was little and I slept with my mama. My grandpa was a truck driver. He was always on the road. So I slept with grandma. Um, but we'd be laying in bed sound asleep, and she would just come up out of a dead sleep, screaming at the top of her lungs with her kidneys shutting down. And I would have to sit there and wait with her because her children were fucking useless. Like, I would call my mother and anyway, Grandpa would be 3 states away. He can't fucking teleport back. And she would refuse to go by squad. And when you're 4 years old and your mother figure says no to something, especially if it was grandma, you listen to her. So I would sit there with her all night, holding her hand while she screamed in agony, waiting for Grandpa to come back home. I didn't realize at that age she could have died doing that, but I didn't know. She said, "Don't call the squad." She said, "Wait for Grandpa." So I'd sit there with her as she screamed and cried, and we'd wait for Grandpa. And she would get to the hospital, and they would say it's like she has stones, only they don't see stones, and just all kinds of crazy shit. And one time she went into septic shock. Like, it was bad for a long, long time. And then I got to thinking, because I was trying to think, like, what made it stop? Because they were gonna put stents in, but they didn't. I don't believe. Um, so what made it stop? Well, Grandma was quite like yours truly when I was very little, and the woman never drank water. All she drank was coffee, black, strong coffee. And then she started craving water all the time. So from that point on, she drank a shit ton of water. And from that point on, she never had another problem with her kidneys. When I was little, very little, I would get kidney infections constantly, which later on it was believed that it was because of the abuse I was suffering at the time. But what if that wasn't the case? Like, what if this shit's been going on all along? On top of the Crohn's that I was born with. If you could be born with Crohn's, like, I don't know. I don't fucking know. But if I had to guess, Grandma would be my best candidate for who may have had Wilson's disease. See, she also had a weak heart, but they always told her that that was from having scarlet fever as a little kid. And then she had a cousin who died of cirrhosis of the liver, but he was an alcoholic, so they never looked, which it was like the 80s, so I don't know if they would have found it either way, but they didn't look for another alternative. They were just like, oh, well, clearly it's the alcohol. So, yeah, my great grandmother died of pancreatic cancer. Um, it it's possible. I don't know. I don't think they were. I can't remember because they told me all this the first day. So I can't remember how they said that they test for Wilson's, and I can't remember if they said they did the test and sent the results out somewhere and it'll take a while to come back, or if I have to set that up with my GI or GP, or I don't know. I don't know. So I'll have to talk to my regular doctor about that when I go in a couple of weeks. And yeah, what a fucking mess. The calcium on my brain. I'm now scared that Grandpa never had Alzheimer's. Because I would assume, now, my sister and I, because they didn't really tell me much, or if they did, I didn't retain it that day. So my sister and I have been looking it up. And some things say that you can dissolve it, and other things say that you can't do anything about it. Depending on where it is in the brain, it's not even operable. I don't know. But I'm gonna hope like hell you can dissolve it for one thing, and if not, I'm sure with the right meditation, I can figure this shit out. Because I'm not going down like that. But, I mean, the way I have looked at it for a very long time is my mind is all I have left. If that goes, I'm fucking done. Like, my body is useless. I'm sure I've said this in videos before. My body is fucking shot. When my mental faculties go, I mean, I'm done. Like, I don't know. I'm, I'm sure as hell not going to live the way my grandfather did. I can't. I can't do that to my kids or my husband or myself. But I'm not going to think like that because I'm a witch, by God. And witches are the daughters of doing the impossible. And I'm sure with the right amount of white light, we'll get this shit done. We'll fix this shit. If the doctors can't fix it, I'll find something. Because I'm not going down like that. Not anytime soon, anyway. I'm too fucking young. And then, like, now I'm scared because I just finally started writing again. And I was writing my ass off there for a while. And now it's like, I'm pretty sure my brain is not fully healed yet. I know it's not. I can feel it. I know. I know my body and my mind very, very well. And so I'm not going to like get too upset or panic too much until it's been healed a while and I still can't write again. Um, but I am wondering because we were first told by a horrible fucking hospital in Columbus, by the way, the ones that lied intentionally to me and almost killed me and literally sent me home to die at 24 years old because I didn't have insurance. And even with the H cap and the fact that they got fucking grant money for it, they couldn't be bothered. That hospital, they were the ones who first told us that Grandpa had Alzheimer's, which we didn't put too much stock in the first time because yeah, the symptoms were definitely there, but they were idiots. We already knew they were fucking idiots, allegedly. And then he went, I believe, to a neurologist who said something to the effect of, we don't think it's Alzheimer's, but there's definitely something there. And then that's the last we heard about it. And I'm now sitting here wondering, did he die for nothing? And I know that does no good. What's dead is dead. You know, you can't undo that. I, I don't know. It's just not a great road to walk down. But and it's not just the dying, it's the suffering that he went through all those years before the dying. Not a good road to walk down. Um, but yeah. So they moved me. That was Saturday when they woke me up and all that, and I was up all night, which makes sense. They had me out for 2 days when I barely managed 4 hours of sleep a night. They moved me to the neuro wing in the evening of Sunday, and they were talking like I was not getting out any fucking time soon. Well, Tony comes on Monday. I'm sitting there like, Tony, I've at least got to get the fuck out of this room. He's like, well, I'm not taking you down to smoke. I'm like, I didn't fucking ask you to, but I gotta get out of this room. So he pushes me around in the wheelchair. It was the first time I had been out of the room, like been out of a room in the 2.5 days I had been awake. So that was something. But I hadn't slept at all the night before then either. And when we got back into the room, I drank a little bit of coffee. Oh man, Riverside, they were so. Y'all know I don't fuck with hospitals. I don't like doctors. I love nurses. Nurses are my jam most of the time. Some of the most incredible people on this planet are nurses. But doctors, the way I've always looked at it, the way Grandma always told me, she spent plenty of time in hospitals. The nurses do all the hard work and the doctors get all the fucking credit. Which, for the longest time, nurses were predominantly female, doctors were predominantly male. So that makes a lot of sense that it's set up that way. But anyway, um, that hospital was amazing to me. No, they wouldn't let me fucking go walk around at least the wing like I wanted to because they were afraid because my brain was still a mess and I was unbalanced and all that. But anytime I wanted coffee, water, anything that I wanted that they could give me, they did. They were very kind to me. They were very intelligent. They were amazing. See, that's the hospital Dakota was born at. And at that time, which was in 96, they were a good hospital. And then again in 2010, when they helped my ex friend's grandpa, like they saved his life, and when even they didn't think they could when he came in. So I knew they were a good hospital a decade ago. But around here, that don't mean shit. I'm here to tell you. So I I I had gone to literally every other fucking hospital in Columbus at one point or another when I didn't have insurance trying to get help. They were like this is going to sound so fucking stupid. They were my last hope that there was still some hospital out there that had any fucking sense. So I didn't go there because I didn't want to be disappointed. I probably should have gone there, I don't know, the first month that Grant did nothing for me, allegedly. I keep forgetting and saying their damn name. Because they're still amazing at Riverside Hospital in Columbus, Ohio. And they were amazing to me, and I could not have, except for, I wish I could have gone out and smoked cigarettes. But that's not their fault. I was severely unbalanced with the whole head trauma thing. And I couldn't have asked for better treatment or better people. They were so kind to me. They were great. They were wonderful. They're very cautious with the whole coronavirus situation, which my immunocompromised ass appreciates greatly, I'm here to tell you. Um, they were just wonderful. And anyway, I fell asleep for like an hour and a half. And apparently, in that time, my amazing, marvelous, pulls a miracle out just when you need one type of old man got them to let me go. They had to talk to the doctor and all that and set up an appointment with a um, I almost said neuroscientist, neurologist. See, the brain still is not working. Um, and they did all that while I was taking my little nap. And when I woke up, Tony's like, they'll be in any minute with your discharge papers. And I thought I heard him wrong or was processing it wrong. I'm like, what? He said they're going to be in any minute so you can sign your discharge papers. Like, what? Sorry, guys. I threw the cigarette. That's been worse since I got home. As y'all can imagine, making sure I don't have fire down there. Anyway, I was like, "What?" And he's like, "They're letting you go. They said that they've done all the tests they can do here. You're doing great. You've been eating, talking, getting up to go to the bathroom. I had taken a shower. They let me take a shower. Y'all, it had been like 3 days. I needed that damn shower, and I was willing to beg for it. And when I got to the neuro wing, they just offered it to me. It was incredible. Made my whole night. I'm the type of person, if I feel dirty, I can't sleep, which I didn't sleep anyway, but at least I could lay there comfortable with my Pearl Jam and my Nirvana and my Tool. What can I say? Uh, but yeah, so they came in and they let me go, and oh my god, I there are few times in my life that I have been that happy. My life motto of I hate goddamn surprises went right out the window there for a minute when I woke up and he told me that one. Because when I fell asleep, they were telling me, like, it's not going to happen, girl. You're going to have to let it go. We can let him push you around this wing. We can get you all the coffee you want. We'll let you take a shower, but we can't let you go. And then they talked to the doctor, and they must have worked magic, as nurses often do. And they let me go. I was so happy. But for some reason, I don't know why, because it was September 2nd, I believe, or something like the 1st or 2nd, I thought that all the leaves would be changed, like in that 4 day period or whatever it was. So I was expecting it to look like middle of fucking October out there. And of course that was no. Hell, the leaves have barely changed. This week, actually a couple of days ago, our maple, because I have a maple finally in my yard, finally started getting some red on it. I picked a couple of them up, but I think my cat ate them because he's weird. But yeah, they're doing this like tie dye thing. There's no red on this one, but you can kind of see the. It's like that, but with red and orange, and I am so happy with that. Like, they are absolutely gorgeous. Oh yeah, my cat's been eating all of these, man. Here's one. I won't break it, but like that. So it's starting to turn. And I am thrilled. River picked this one up. She said it was the baby leaf to the mommy leaf. Oh, and I broke it. Shh, don't tell her. I already put my uh, Maybon fall altar up because, well, my kid destroyed my summer altar and it needed to just be tablecloths washed and just everything cleansed and just try again. Is So I took it down because I felt like there was no point in cleaning everything only to put up the same altar when in a couple of weeks I'd have to change it anyway. Because normally I wait to until about sundown the day before because the with the ancient Celts, they did everything sundown to sundown. So that's why for some people, Beltane is considered to start on April 30th because it's sundown to sundown. That was how their days went. But and I do that too with a few things. Sal and I now do like, let's see, birth, death, life, rebirth. 4 days. Well, technically I do all month, but the magical part, 4 days. By the way, for those of you who are new, Halloween has been my favorite holiday my entire life, which should have tipped everybody off to the fact that I was gonna, eventually become a witch. Um, and people look at you funny when you're at your Pentecostal church, like, but yeah, but like, why aren't you guys dressing up and trick or treating and getting excited for Halloween like you do Christmas? Because to me as a child, I don't know if it was because I was a larger child or what. I have always had a lifelong love of chocolate. Um, let's be straight. I saw just the whole vibe of Halloween to me. I loved it more than I did Christmas. Christmas was my second favorite, but Halloween was my jam, like all my life. And I could not figure out at 6 or 7 why people were not getting as excited as I was for Halloween. Because, yeah, now a whole bunch of people are into Halloween, but in the 90s, that was not the case, my friend. It just wasn't. Um, my thing was because I used to act back then, like in little plays and all that shit, and I was really good. But, um, but I quit and decided to write instead. Anyway, I got to dress up and get chocolate. Like, fuck, yes, man. I don't know. I just like the entire vibe of it. I have always seen Halloween as the most magical night of the year, long before I knew the stories that are associated with it when it comes to being pagan and the ancient pagans and all that. And um, someone today, I can't remember, I'm sorry, y'all, I'm not doing great remembering new names, and I really, really apologize for that. That's not gonna last. When my fucking brain heals, hopefully I'll go back to being able to remember names. Um, Hell, I blanked out on River's name twice today. That's not great. Um, anyway, someone today in my comments said that they think that I'm a great storyteller, and I don't think that person knew that I'm a writer. So, either way, that is the greatest compliment a person could give me. It literally touched my heart. My cold, black heart warmed up just a bit. And it grew 3 sizes that day. But for anybody who ever wants to check them out or whatever, um, I do have an Amazon page with my novels that I have finished and published so far on there. And all you have to do, I'll put the link in the description below. But really, all you have to do is put my name. You have to put both of them because there's this chick named Kiera Lachey, and she always comes up before me, which really kind of insults me. No, I'm just playing. But anyway, you put in Kiera Snyder, and it will come up, and it'll bring you my books. Yes, most of the covers are lame. I had to make them myself. I am no artiste, my friend. Writing and acting, that's where my gifts are. I fuck up drawing a stick figure. That's that. Sorry. So I did the best I could with the crap ass, non copyrighted pictures that I could find and the lame ass font that they had on the cover maker thing on Amazon. But if you have Amazon Prime, you can get it on Kindle for free. Um, if you don't, I think it's like some of them are like $2 and some are three, I believe, for Kindle. Now you do have the option now to get a paperback copy, which I still have not been able to come up with the $14 to get even one copy of one of my own books. I'm not playing. And I published them on that, like, the day of or the day after my 30th birthday. I'm now, or yeah, my 30th birthday. I'm now 33. So that tells you how the last 3 years have gone for this family. But that's okay. But if you want to do that, they're $14, which is like as cheap as I could make them for the size they are because I got a big mouth. Y'all might have noticed we're 50 minutes into this. Um, I have a big mouth when I'm writing too. Now, I did read Stephen King's book on writing. Literally, I believe that's what it's called. When I was like 13. And I did take to heart to not use words you don't need. Like, but I still kind of have that Anne Rice side to me too, where I am flowery with. I don't know. You should be able to read a preview if you think you might be interested, just in case, just to make sure that you even like my style of writing, let alone the subject matter. You used to be able to. I assume you can. So you can do that. And it's not a situation where I'm saying, come out and buy my books. I'm just saying if it's something you would like to look into, I'll put the link in the description below, or you can just put my name in Amazon.com and see if it's something you might be interested in. We got witches, vampires, hippies, just whatever you're into. Oh, and the vampire novels are vampire fairy tales, vampire retellings of fairy tales. Um, I know it sounds super fucking lame and gimmicky, but I swear to the gods it's not. It all came from a poem I wrote at 15, and Rapunzel was technically the first, but she's no longer the first in the series. You just check it out. See if you like it. If you want to. There was something else I was gonna say. God, I mean, I know I've been doing this for years, the blanking out, but I was just so clear headed. And yes, I'm still taking the fucking seizure medication. I've never been on seizure meds. I did not feel like it was necessary to take something that I'll never be able to get off of when I only have like one a year, even if it is bad. I understand why they gave me seizure medication at that time. Please don't get me twisted on that. But um, I'm not planning on staying on this shit forever at all. And I'm hoping that when I see the neurologist, we can work something out and get the fuck off of it. Well, anyway, oh, and because of my chemical imbalance that caused the major depressive disorder and the anxiety and all that, when I take my seizure medication, I get extremely agitated and I don't like that. I have a very loud, sometimes very irritating 4-year old who likes to push every fucking button, like most 4-year olds. And I can't be agitated with her. I have to be the grown up. So we need to work something out. And I don't want to hear, well, we'll switch you to this one because no. The way it works with me and medication that does shit like that, either it does absolutely nothing, like most antidepressants, or it makes me completely want to yank my fucking hair out. Either way, not something I want to do for the rest of my life. And I've taken them every day now for 2 weeks. I'm still getting aggravated. So I got like 2 or 3 weeks left until my neuro appointment that I'm supposed to have. Uh, If I'm still getting aggravated, then clearly that's just what they're going to do to me, and we need to work out something to get me off. Um, but I don't know what caused this. This is normally when I have seizures, whether they're triggered by light and they're that type of seizure, whether they're random conscious seizures, or whether they're grand mal, because I have all three kinds. I also have, if it's like the same type of seizure, but it can also be triggered by certain sounds. So I have to be careful with what meditation stuff I play because I've literally gone full seizure mode just over trying to align my fucking chakras. Um, I'm that's yeah, I'm dead serious. That's the fucking sad part. But like I've never had a seizure that made me forget 3 days before, let alone 2 days after, and then come out with my mind feeling like I'm 6 years old again in some aspects, and I don't know what triggered it. Like, I was a little stressed over money because we're having it a little tough right now, but we got evicted last year. Like, at least we can pay the rent. I mean, we may have to borrow some money off my sister, but we can pay the rent, we know what, and we also know that if all else fails, if we have no other option, my husband can go to work with a brother-in-law I have. So we've been worse off, is what I'm saying. We have been in a much tougher situation, and I didn't do this. So I don't know. What I'm After I had River, my seizures changed. They became much less frequent. They became more often than not conscious. They changed. And I'm thinking something, maybe hormonal, maybe that calcium on my brain, something has changed them again. And yes, if I am going to start having seizures like that all the time, clearly we will have to find a seizure medication that doesn't make me want to rip my hair out, that also stops the seizures. Like, I can't live like that. But I really think that the key to a lot of the problems that I've had hormonally and like just in general might be held in where that calcium in the brain is at. I, if they told me, I forgot, but I think that that might be what was blocking my creativity, what was making me have the hot flashes, and now I'm back to being cold all the time. And all of it, all of it, I guarantee can probably the answers to those questions can probably be held and where the calcium's at. Now, just pray we can dissolve that shit. Because I damn sure don't want to have brain surgery, but it needs to go. And if I can have my clarity of mind again with it gone, fingers crossed, kids. So that's my story about the fucking ICU experience. And it wasn't great. Oh, and August was not done with me yet. Skip back to August. I guess because the real bad part didn't start until like the second week of August or third week. She wasn't done with me yet. Altogether, I had about 5 weeks of August energy. It feels like it's clearing up a little bit now. Again, fingers crossed. God damn it hurts. But oh, and y'all know how I swell up everywhere because of the lesions on my spine that have also apparently gotten worse and are far more clear on the scans now. But anyway, I swell up. I have lymphedema as a result of it because I have the exact same symptoms as multiple sclerosis. Well, when I started processing things, I realized, oh my god, my feet and ankles are their normal size. I hadn't had that in 2 years. And my hands weren't swollen and my face wasn't swollen, even my stomach. And I figured this was from Crohn's, but apparently a lot of it must be from lymphedema. Well, it was probably, I'm guessing, a combination of three things. Me laying for all the time, the pressure cuff things that they put on your legs that is exactly what I need for this, but I'm pretty sure insurance won't pay for it unless you actually are diagnosed with MS, and I haven't been. And they're saying that the lesions on my spine are still only on my spine, so even though it acts just like MS, it's not MS. Um, But either way, I don't even know if you can just be diagnosed with lymphedema and have it be covered. I'm pretty sure you have to be diagnosed specifically with MS. So I can't get one of those machines because they are extremely expensive and obviously I can't pay for that. Well, I came home and the first 2 days I stayed not swollen. And then, oh, and the socks that they put on you. But I can't walk in them because of the things on the bottom and how my feet burn all the time. Well, now, hang on a second. Let me see if I can. I know I can't get my leg up for y'all. Can you tell how big that is? Yeah. My leg and feet. It's mainly my right side. But I'm swelling on my left too, just not nearly as bad because Saturday we were at my father-in-law's who lives literally right around the corner from us for a cookout for sorry, I'm trying to make sure that damn light is not like right in your eyes. Um anyway, we were at my father-in-law's for a cookout because of uh Labor Day. And they have a big, nice pool. But where it was getting so cool at night, I didn't bring River's swimsuit because I thought it would be too cold. I forgot it was heated. And River was begging me to swim, and she had been really good that day because she's been pretty bad since I got home, and I know what it is. She thinks I just abandoned her for 4 days. That's what she does. Hell, when Tony's work schedule changes, she does that to him. So I expected that. But, so I was like, alright, fuck it. You stay here with daddy, and I will go get your swimsuit. So my little sister in law, her friend, and I were walking. We didn't even make it like I don't know 5 minutes up the road, and the sidewalks around here they are just a fucking disaster. Well, I forgot that for a minute, and on top of that, I was already unbalanced, and I tripped over the sidewalk, and I didn't catch myself, and I went full down and tore my knee to pieces, like worse than ever. Because apparently, according to Brandy, she thinks it also caused road rash in addition to the cuts. Um, it's pretty bad. When I'm wearing a different outfit, I'll show you what that mess looks like. because y'all know I'm not gonna edit and put a fucking picture in. Y'all know how I roll. Come on now. But yeah, so I used an ace bandage like an idiot to hold up a gauze over my knee to take a shower. Um, it made my leg swell like that, and my hand. My hand's not as obvious. It's not as bad, but it is swollen, and my face and everything's swollen again. So there's that. But I have been drinking a shit ton of water. Um, I'm gonna start eating right again because I was doing really good for like 3 months. I was actually eating, but I was eating like good stuff, like just meat and yes, yes, for my fellow pagans. I'm not one of those vegan pagans. I do eat meat. Sorry. One day, if you want to know, I'll give you my personal theory on that. But, and no, it's not, well, the gods wouldn't make it taste so good if they didn't want. No, it's not quite that. But I was eating, as many grains as I could without fucking my stomach up because Crohn's and certain grains and just not buddies. Um, but I was laying off. I was eating a lot of corn tortillas. That was like my dinner every night: corn tortillas with some meat. Um, because I sometimes get very, very sleepy when I eat carbs. So I just took that as, even though I love everything to do with carbohydrates, pasta and bread are, besides chocolate, two of my favorite things on the world. Like literally on the Anyway, yeah. So I intend to get back to when we have a little more money and we're doing better because right now my only focus is rent, bills, and river. But when we're doing a little better, I will get back to eating as good as I can and taking care of myself again. I was exercising. I was exercising, y'all. Oh yeah, I was. Look up the share aerobics, the dance one every other day. I started off with sweating to the oldies because that was the only exercise thing I ever worked to. And I loved it when I was little, so I thought I'd love it again. And it got me worked up to where I could do other stuff. And then I did the share one, and I was doing like push up type things, but not push ups because I wasn't on the floor, or because I wouldn't be able to get back up at all. Um, I was doing that off of my kitchen sink every day, and I was looking at the thrift stores to see if I could find even little 5 pound weights. Like, I was doing really, really good, but then we got broke again, and I'm not worried about me. I, I've lived on nothing before. I'll be fine. I'm worried about River. But when things improve again, yeah, I could still exercise though when I heal up, and I will. Um, I like I said, I've been drinking a lot of water. Like I'll have my first cup of coffee in the morning, and then I drink one of those giant hospital cups full of water. Which, speaking of cups of coffee, y'all, this is what I'm down to. This is my cup now. But before all this happened, my liver, which, like I've said in the past, I have a Crohn's spot, which apparently is also worse. Apparently, all the Crohn's spots are worse and more obvious. But I have a Crohn's spot, which is essentially scar tissue, that is right by my gallbladder and my liver. And when it inflames my gallbladder and my liver. And then they inflame each other, and it's just a big fucking mess. That is what I thought was going on when my liver started acting up. Because it acted up on and off like all month last month. The copper taste and the pain and the burning and just all of it, man, all of it. And I thought it was my Crohn's. You know, that's what I thought it was. So I thought it was no big deal. I've been through it a million times before. Even though part of me knew, like, yeah, but normally it's once in a while. It is not normally like this. Um, I didn't think anything of it. And yeah, and now they're saying that that might have been the Wilson's disease and it might not have had anything to do with the Crohn's at that time. And that it might have been what caused this particular seizure. They don't know. So, there's more wrong with me than we thought. Yay! I'm just being a smart ass. Y'all know, whatever it is, we'll get through it. Right? Because what is my life motto? This too shall pass. What is my other life motto? Keep on keeping on. We will push through it. We always do. Right, kids? Right. Now I have taken up almost an hour and 15 minutes of your life, and I thank you for watching this, even though it wasn't about Karen. And thank you for all the new subscribers. And thank you to all my subscribers who stuck by me when I was taking care of grandma and not uploading for a year at a time. I have a couple other videos that I want to make for you guys because I realized that at the end of Grandpa's life, with everything that was going on, I told you all part of the story, but I never finished the story about the mother in law from hell. And it kind of has a fucked up ending. Not for us, but it, I need to tell my old subscribers about that one. And there's just a couple of other things that got ashes all over my computer. You know, 'cause I'm trashy. Um, anyway, thank y'all for sticking it out with me. Whether you're a new subscriber, old subscriber, thank y'all for making it to September of 2020. You did it, okay? And we're going to keep making it. And hopefully next year we'll make up for all the fucked up shit this year has put us through. It will, I swear. We just gotta get through it and make the lemonade out of all these goddamn lemons. And we can do it because we've done it before. If you are here right now, by God, at some point you've done it before. I love you guys, and I hope y'all are having a wonderful day, night, weekend, week, what you know, whenever you watch this. I hope that you're having a wonderful that.